Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where once there was only despair.
Buon Angela, welcome back allemaal to my Afrikaans-speaking followers. Kia ora to any Aotearoa whānau that have still made their way, despite maybe some of the negative things I said about your team in the last couple of weeks. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, it is another chance. Take two against the All Blacks this weekend. This weekend, it moves from the capital city of Joburg to Cape Town. They're the mother city, as they call it there in the Western Cape. And I'm excited. Lineups have been announced. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of the game, because what is a Springbok All Blacks game without a bit of controversy, man? I mean, mired in it, from tries that shouldn't have counted on both sides to a little bit of mess. Apparently, Sam Cane and Sia Khaleesi kind of bumping heads there for a bit. People kind of saying, "Hey, why is this not getting called?" And obviously, just kind of the overall feeling that we were behind that entire game. It really only became ours in the last 15 minutes of the game. So obviously, some things that needed to get cleaned up. But it's another chance. We could make it 4 in a row against our Southern Hemisphere opponents this weekend. And there's a lot more than that riding on the line. So apparently, if we lose, we fall to third, and Ireland moves into first place. I don't want that to happen. Sorry, I know I've got Irish followers on here, but I don't want that to happen, damn it. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started, obviously, with the All Blacks lineup. I've been hearing a lot of content creators saying major changes. We'll get to that in a moment, obviously. But let's go ahead and start with the 23-man squad. It is a 5-3 split off the bench for Scott Robertson. Front row will consist of Tamaiti Williams, Cody Taylor, Tyrell Lomax, Scott Barrett and Tupou Vai once again at the 4 and 5 jersey with Wallace Atiti and Sam Cane. And the flankers, Artie Savea, the vice captain, of course, at the number 8. And making the move from the bench to the starting 15 is Cortez Radama. And once again, Damian McKenzie, the chief himself, the number 10 jersey, first 5/8 for the All Blacks. Mark Talea moves from the bench to the starting 15 in that number 11 jersey. And Sevu Reece rejoins the squad in the number 14 jersey. No changes in the midfield, as we will have Jordy Barrett vice captaining and Rico Ioane, his partner, there in the number 13 jersey. And another big move, Will Jordan goes from the bench to the starting 15. He will be starting at fullback this week. A 5-3 split, like I said, once again, for Scott Robertson, is Asafo Amua, our Muslim brother, Ofa Tuanga and Fletcher Newell will make up the front row replacements. Sam Derry has continued to impress. He will be the lock replacement, and Luke Jacobson coming off the bench for the final forward replacement. TJ Paranara goes from the starting 15 to the bench with Anton Leonard-Brown and former two-time back-to-back World Rugby Player of the Year and Beauden Barrett will be in that number 23 jersey. Quite a few changes, handful of changes for the Springboks this week. The front row no changes in the front row with Oxenche, Bongi Manombi, and Franz Malherbe, more than capable. Eben Etzebeth moves from the bench back into the jersey that's rightfully his, that number 4. And he will be partnered up with a guy that, be damned if he doesn't give me Lud de Jager vibes, Ruan Norke. He's been great. He's done everything we've asked of him. You know, obviously with the injuries to Salman Marat, Arhi Sneman, we've needed him to step up, and he's done his job. Sia Khaleesi will not get his nose set until after this match. He has a broken nose. Hopefully I can play a little clip before the video of Coach Rassi, Dr. Rassi Erasmus, talking about if it gets any worse, he's going to look like Kwaka. But he will be starting in the number 6 jersey with his opposite making his way back into the jersey we love him for, Peter Steph Toy at number 7. Jasper Visa once again will get the start at number 8. And finally, after weeks and weeks and weeks of fans calling for it, Grant Williams will get his start in the number 9 jersey. Making the move from the bench to the starting 15, the veteran, the general of Loftus himself, Handré Pollard, will be getting the start at number 10. Cheslin Colby will be in the number 11 jersey and replacing the injured Kurtley Arenza, making his way back. If any of you folks remember the last time he played against the All Blacks, yep, it was at Twickenham. Kanan Moody will be the opposite wing. No change in the midfield as we get the Milnerton grad, Damien Dialende, and the kid from the KZN, Jesse Creel, continuing to oppress. A change at 15, no Fossey this week. We will go with the veteran leadership and skills of Billy LaRue, and also, we call it chirping in hockey. Boy loves to run his mouth. I love it. A 5-3 split coming off the bench with Malcolm Marks, Gutthard Steenkamp, and Vincent Koch, the front row replacements. Quagga Smith. A lot of people have been saying 21 jersey needs to retire. Well, he's not playing 21 this week. He is 19. He's in the number 19 jersey with Elrig Lowe also on the bench. That will be the final forward replacement. Another face, welcome back. Jaden Hendricksa will be Grant Williams' replacement when it's needed. Sasha Feinberg coming off the bench in the number 22. And welcome back once again, a masterful man in his prime, Lucanio in the 23 jersey. So, look, I want to go ahead and start with the obvious thing. I threw up this graphic last week. I'm going to throw it up again. You could have predicted this lineup a week ago. Through now, this will be 6 tests against Tier 1 nations. There's not a whole lot of changes with the All Blacks. Now, you could say, well, look, they haven't played Australia yet. We made a lot of changes versus Australia, but we've made some subtle changes. Obviously, Sasha has been owning that number 10 jersey for a while, but I just don't feel like there's like a whole lot of difference. You've got 4 wingers, you've got 3 centers, we've got multiple guys. And I think the key is that, yes, you have Will Jordan who can play wing, who can play fullback. You've got Bowden Barrett who can play fullback and can play 10. Handré Pollard can play 10, 12, 15. Sasha can play 10, 12, 15. Kanan could play 13, 14, 15. Manny Libok can play 10 or 15. Like we've got Jesse Krill can play center or wing. Grant Williams can play 9 or wing. We've got Cheslin Colby apparently can play 2, 9, 10, 11, 14, and 15. I feel like we've got utility players. Those are the X factors that I feel like we have over the All Blacks. We have those X factor players. I don't feel like the All Blacks have that yet. Maybe they'll have some soon, but I just don't see it. It's just not a lot of depth for the All Blacks. Now, obviously, I am picking the Springboks to win. I'm not going to go on some ridiculous 20-point victory. I'm going to pick us by 5. It's going to be a narrow victory. I think this game is going to start out a lot differently than it did last week. You saw the All Blacks come out and try to smack us early, and they did. They smacked us in the mouth, but we responded. I think this week with Handré Pollard at 10, he's more of a defensive 10. We're gonna shore up defensively on that back line. We're gonna need to. With Will Jordan at 15, we're gonna need to. This may become a big kicking game. Now, the thing that does worry me a bit, obviously, is Jaden Hendricksa. We can't have you box kicking in the last 20 minutes of the game, bud. That's not how we play now. We need you to play like Grant Williams. We need you to pick the ball up and run if you have to. And I think Hendricksa can do it. I don't deny that he doesn't have that skill set to do it. He's great. He's solid. I've always been a fan of Hendricksa, more so than his brother, but definitely Jaden. But I feel like we do have a good mix. I'm not worried about the front. We didn't mess with the front row. Why mess with success? We took our best tackler, Peter Steph-Toy, and moved him into his natural position. He can play 6 or 7. They play him at 7. He's a natural 6. I am a little bit worried without Ben Jason Dixon because he does provide that. But last week, he really didn't have the most stellar game either. I do like the fact that we do have some solid guys coming up. Lucanio and Quagga Smith are X factors off the bench. 100% X factors off the bench. Where do we put Quagga? Does he replace Sia? I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Lowe will probably replace Jasper Fisa. We're going to expect 80 minutes out of Eben Etzebeth and Rowan Norkie, and I think they can both deliver. I wouldn't like that, but we don't really have any other options at this point. Now, if there is an injury, we can move Pieter-Steph into lock and bring in Quagga or Elrig to replace that. I'm not worried about that too much. Like I said, I'm going to pick a 5-point victory. This will be our 4th in a row over the All Blacks. And unfortunately, it's not enough to really, it should just about close up the rugby championship for us, but we still have 2 games against Argentina, and I do not want to take the Pumas lightly. They've got another one. They barely lost to the Wallabies last week, therefore ending my prophecy that the Wallabies would not win a single game. I think the Pumas come back strong this week, and I think they get the dub over the Wallabies. So Saturday, we'll be live over on TikTok. I'll put the link in the bio here for you guys. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that this is a solid enough Springbok team to do this again? I think this is, we're going to have to refine what we did. I didn't like Pieter-Steph du Toit playing lock against the All Blacks. Like, I didn't mind it against the Wallabies. I don't really want it against the All Blacks. We need him in that open space to make those tackles. To remind Jordy Barrett who he's playing against. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section, and we'll talk again.
The problem would have been if he's hesitant. It can't break further. It has to be put back in place. Might look like Quagga.